So it's my sense that calling comes to everyone. There's the old saying that many are called but few are chosen. But I don't see it that way. There's another way to see it, that everyone is called, but not everyone responds to the call. So there's always been a problem with responding to the call. I think it's a greater problem now, but I think we have to look at the things that get in the way of the calling. And so in modern life, one of the first problems becomes how to hear the call amidst the distractions, the confusions, the excess of information and misinformation. The rapid communication and confusion of the modern world is interfering with the channels through which the calling can come. This is particularly true now for young people, I would say, because they're left to their own devices and they're engaging with other kind of signals and often missing the signal that's trying to awaken their own soul. But that's true for all of us at the same time. Another factor of modern life that makes it harder to find the call or hear the call or confirm the call or recognize the call is the fact that cosmologically we're lost. The modern world has no center. You know, the old forms of cosmology had centers. The Earth was at the center, then the sun was at the center, and then they figured out there's nothing at the center. And that caused people to think that the whole thing is an accident. What they didn't realize, when there's nothing specifically at the center, any place in the world, in the galaxy, can become the center. And by the way, that which calls to us is calling from the center. It's calling from the center of the cosmos, in a sense. That was a really old idea. And it's calling to the center of us. And so when we get lost cosmologically, when we don't have a living myth that makes sense to people, when we don't understand our position in the cosmos, we become more distant from the possibility of calling. Most people think, because modern science says that the world is accidental, then that they too are accidental. And an accidental person is likely to not find the call. And so we almost need a different cosmological understanding to realize that we are here to awaken to who we already are and to respond to the call, which will lead us into meaningful pathways through which we not only satisfy our own spiritual longings, but we also bring something to a world that needs spiritual healing and healing on all kinds of other levels. So the call actually affects not just the individual soul, but each individual soul is connected to the world. So losing the calling means the world loses something as well. So another aspect of modern life that's in the way of the calling coming through, and this is getting at the kind of emptiness inside people, there's two basic ideas about what's inside or what the soul inside a person is. And one of them is called Tabula rasa, which is Latin for a scraped clean table. And so the idea is that the soul of a person is blank. And once they're born, everybody starts writing on their soul, the parents and the neighbors and siblings and everybody, school teachers, and that they are the sum of what's written on them or what's impressed into them by others. Tabula rasa. The other idea, which is the most common idea in all traditional cultures around the world and most mythologies around the world, is each person is born with a distinct inner spirit, that each person comes into the world with the spirit that is inside that's trying to awaken, and that the spirit, that's inner spirit, is distinct. You might say, in fact, it's unique. And that's what a person has come to awaken to realize the uniqueness of their own inner spirit. And the calling is calling to the unique spirit that's already there. That dynamic is really important. The calling that comes from the outside is calling to something that already exists on the inside in the form of an inner spirit, a unique spirit, a genius, a daimon. There's lots of names for it. But there's something in the person that has come here to become known by the person and to deliver things to the world. And that's what the calling is about. I just say one more thing about the uniqueness. because the modern world is so absorbed with collective ideas, and people are counted as part of groups. They're part of a voting group. They're part of a purchasing group. They're part of a ethnic group. They're part of a generation. And what's been lost is the unique individuality of each person. The calling can only come to the individual soul. The individual soul is the essence and the most meaningful part of the person. Each person born is unique, will never live again. Many people will live, but not that person. And people doubt that in the modern world because of the accidental universe and ideas like tabula rasa. But if you think about it, nature only makes originals. No two trees are the same. No two birds are the same. No two living souls are the same. Each person is unique. And when the calling strikes and a person responds, they begin to live in a unique way, which is satisfying and meaningful to them, but which is also instructive and educational for others. You can think of the people who have passed on, famous people. I was quoting some of them, and how they left their mark because they lived a unique life. And they all, no matter who they are, spiritual, artistic, what kind of person they were, they all answered a call. That's the old understanding. The soul is unique, and there's a call trying to connect to that uniqueness and awaken the person from within. From outside, it feels like a call. From inside, it's experienced as an awakening. And we're supposed to have that experience. As a matter of fact, the soul expects to have that experience. So Ralph Waldo Emerson said, when nature has work to be done, she creates geniuses to do it. He's making the distinct connection between human genius and nature. And then, in a sense, saying that the call is coming from nature, in a sense. You can say it's coming from the center of the cosmos, it's coming from God, it's coming from the angelic realm, it's coming from nature. You can write the story the way you want to write it. The important thing is that the calling is coming from the outside in order to awaken something already present inside. And then that shows you that that thing trying to awaken in us is secretly connected to the world. Connected to nature, connected to the spiritual realm, connected to the possibilities of being creative. All reasons why the calling is so important. Excuse me. But a problem comes from this uniqueness also. In other words, another problem with calling is that because each person is unique and because the calling is calling to the unique spirit of the person, the calling can come in surprising, unexpected ways. And as a matter of fact, since the soul is unique, the calling can come in a unique way as well. And that means there's no overall pattern or general map to follow, because it is the unique inner pattern of the soul that is the aim of the calling. I'm trying to say there's a built-in problem. And I know people like to know how many steps there are and what's the first step. And people like to have a schema or a schematic. But because the soul is unique, and because the expression of the soul is intended to be unique also, the calling can come in unique ways. And that's one reason why it's not a simple subject in high school with everybody knowing what's going on. There's a mystery in it. And the mystery is partly the uniqueness of the soul. And another part of the mystery is the fact that the unique soul is connected to the soul of the world, to the heart of nature. And so something mysterious is happening, and that's why it's a little hard to define it and say, here's how you look for it, and here's how you find it. It's mysterious in its own way, and it involves a person partially solving the mystery of their own life, and therefore the process can be mysterious as well.